tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Tailgate Show. This is going to be kind of a tough one to do. I personally didn't want to go tonight, but here we are. It's getting a little bit... I mean, that game sucked. There was a final score. I'm still like PTSD over here. Was it 31-10? Does that sound accurate?
Yep, that is accurate.
Shellacking. We became the landing strip for the Jets, and
they mowed us down.
Landing strip, you say?
Yeah, pretty much.
It wasn't even a close shave. It wasn't even a close shave.
During that whole intro you just gave, Mike White just completed 4 more passes.
God, this defense is so bad.
I mean, that's just Bears, right? Remember when Tannehill went like 17 for 17 when he was playing? Yeah, like it's always some bullshit. But
Brock Osweiler went 3-0 against us with 3 different teams.
I mean,
glory days.
Jets do have some weapons. I'm not gonna discount that. It just shows you how bad Wilson was playing, really.
Or how bad this defense is. Or
correct.
Both.
That's part of it too. I mean, on a positive note, they didn't risk putting Fields out there in shitty turf and shitty weather. I mean, that was one positive.
On a negative, Eddie Jackson's done.
How many season-ending injuries is that for MetLife?
It's collecting them. It's collected bodies.
I mean, the NFLPA is involved. They're supposed to be changing that out next year. I don't know why in this day and age with the NFL and how big they are and how much money they have that they can't just change the turf out.
Let's just go back to natural grass, people.
I don't know.
At least keep it maintained.
The injury rate is a lot. If they truly cared about player safety, they'd go by the injury rate. Turf has produced way more soft tissue injuries.
Question is, how many years has it been since they replaced that turf? Because at our local high school, it's what, 10 years, and I don't think we should be getting that. I think we are supposed to only get like 7 for our turf. So at a high school level.
Have you guys ever been on turf?
Oh yeah, we've got turf at our high school. It's awesome.
There's just no give to it at all. Like the grass is at least a little bit forgiving.
No, there's give to it. It's spongy.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
It's split turf, not turf altogether. Got it.
Interesting.
Yeah, the split turf is the one they're complaining about. Was it like 6 stadiums in the league? Detroit being one of them. But anyway, it did suck to lose Eddie, to lose Mooney. Now they're out for the rest of the season, so that just puts another dark cloud on this whole situation. We kind of knew that the season was going to go this way anyway in the win column, but
no, we were negatives.
Not some.
Well, we did.
This was a 10 to 13 win team, man.
Oh yeah, the hot take. Yeah, just trying to rep their brand on Twitter, which is fun. Bears Twitter is freaking brutal. But positive side, the scripted stuff, we saw guys getting involved that we haven't seen much from really. We saw Pringle get involved. He actually got hit on a slant, which was nice to see.
Slant?
Yes, slant actually. Claypool getting involved was nice to see. Evans is better than Ebner.
Yes.
I'm trying to pull shit out, man, but
Jack Sanborn
continues to impress. Yep, he does.
Jack Sanborn keeps getting tackles. Granted, he gets plenty of opportunity to make tackles.
I think Vildor was solid at times too. I mean, he had
the holding penalty on Garrett, and Garrett ended up catching the ball, but still.
He was no Elijah Hicks. He was okay.
That guy's a stud. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Across the pond.
What the hell's the deal with Kirkshank or whatever, Mr. Tight End Eraser? Like
he got hurt, I guess.
He's been hurt. Like okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did he get hurt from?
Tennessee.
He got hurt from Tennessee.
No, where did he come from? He was that.
No, I said what did he get hurt from?
I have no idea.
It just seems
He
like
might be a special teamer.
Don't know, man. But like Eddie, it just sucks with Eddie too because he really turned things around. I mean, we were getting on him last couple seasons about being like he got his money. Now he's kind of getting soft, but he really like bought in. He was hitting hard. He was like a team captain. Like
Well,
had
the
a lot
play
going
before
on.
that, he's making a tackle, knocks the guy out of bounds. He kind of flexes on him. There's
Yeah,
one of
but like
these where
had a lot going on off the field. Kind of like it was just nice to see him get back to what we were used to seeing, even better actually, because the physicality was there more than it had been in previous years. So to see him get hurt really sucks, man. Because like I thought he was on the come up, like turning things around. I just
what do you do with Eddie?
if he can recover from this injury, fine. I would like to see them keep him because freaking I like this. I like the compliment at safety right now. We haven't had this since Amos was here.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a legit question. He's not young by NFL
And before
standards.
that, a lot of dark years at safety.
yeah, I mean, and he's tied for fourth in the league at the position in interceptions. He was having a hell of a year. In
He
my
was
opinion.
leading Pro Bowl voting, I believe, at one point.
Hell of a year, especially considering how bad everything is in front of him.
Sure.
I think most importantly, the effort's been there.
Yeah,
You know, you said
absolutely.
the physicality earlier. He's never been known as a solid tackler, but you at least seen him put forth a solid effort here.
He was in college. I mean, he could
It was
lay the
never
wood in
it was
college.
never his game though. You know, I think a lot of guys expect him to be, you know, coming up in the box and being a shutdown tackler. It's just not his game. But no, I think the effort's at least been there with him. And yeah, I agree with Diddy. I'd like to see them keep him. I think you got way too many holes on this defense. Maybe you do look to extend him for a couple of years and get that cap figure down for next year. But
I mean, that's going to be a hard sell after he's had 4 picks, and even with the injury, it's going to be a hard sell for him.
Though, I mean,
True. It's
What's
not
gonna
as
be hard?
damning as it once was 5 years ago. You think
What we're
about
talking about hard. What's going to be a hard sell?
well,
To
so
the
I
player,
take
to take a
or-
hometown
doesn't-
discount.
he doesn't necessarily have to take a hometown discount. I just think you're looking to possibly add on another 3 years on that contract, and it at least brings down his 2023 cap number down on there.
That's
And you're essentially, I mean, you're essentially kicking the can down the road. But do you want?
Can he even kick a can? Do we know this?
I mean, I'm just saying, we've talked about how, okay, there's 120, $130 million, but they have how many free agents? You know, is that
lot.
money going to go as far as we think it is?
No.
So is that, you know, if they're comfortable enough where they think they can build this roster in 23 while maintaining that $17 million cap figure, yeah, sure, I'm all for playing it out and letting him see how he comes back from the injury before you make a financial commitment. But if they feel like they need that extra room, would I totally hate them taking, you know, a 2-3 year extension risk and seeing if he's that guy? And it's at least one position that you don't have to immediately consider replacing right now on a defense that's full of holes.
Yeah.
How many starters right now do we have on defense moving forward?
I mean, basically, this is going to come down to how he rehabs and what happens there. To me, starters on the defense. Go ahead.
like locks,
Yeah, Lux.
Sanborn.
At this point, I would say for $872,000 next year, he's a starter.
Justin
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah, you got him for 2 years.
And Jalen, who has regressed this year, but maybe you can throw Jalen and Brisker in there, so you got 4 at most.
I think Vildor's fine. Again, it's tough, man. They're putting bad spots every week. We got our first defensive line sack in 6 weeks.
Armand Watts.
That's
If
terrible.
you had him in the sack pool, congratulations.
I don't even know where we're at in pressures, so I'm ignorant speaking on that. But visually, it doesn't seem like it's very consistent.
No, anytime Mike White can sit there and pick you apart on one read, that's bad.
That's what I'm saying. I've been jealous of the time other quarterbacks had. I wish Justin had it.
Yeah.
That was the aberration that was last year too, right? Like we had such a low pressure rate, but we had such a high, you know, sack
Sacks.
rate. And this year, I think it's just low and low. I would venture to say we're probably near dead last in pressures.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
I think that's also a good point that Diddy was saying. You know, with Vildor, it's maybe harder to get an accurate read on anybody in this secondary right now because of how bad that front seven is.
Sure.
And
And he's played.
Gordon,
And he's played well. He's played well in spite of it.
I still
Not
think
great.
Gordon should be outside, but this is what it is. But yeah, man, it's and then you got Mooney going out on the offensive side. I mentioned it earlier, and that was on a block too. It's like shit.
Yeah, he got rolled up on. That sucks.
Yeah, so that hurts. Even though like most teams he'd be a wide receiver too, but he's R1.
Who takes those reps?
I was gonna say, do you guys think that this forces more chemistry with Claypool and if
He got
Justin
dinged
comes
up
back?
too, though.
I mean, the same guy that was talking about Elijah Hicks then went on to say how Velus Jones is going to be that piece to stretch the defense. He's on a kick, bro. I'm not. I throw shade early, but hey, mate,
Throw it all. Throw all the shade.
He almost He did bobble and almost dropped that pitch on the one play.
I mean, he's out. This dude that I'm talking about is literally out here trying to tax our T. Like,
wow.
So. Anyway.
Yeah, but you know what? Tell Justin Jones it doesn't matter. You tell him.
He cares.
He cares.
Well, you know, I will say that though. Like, that's one thing I did pick up watching this game. This defense is trying. It's just the talent level is just not there, man. They're not like we've seen lay down before. We've seen when seasons go bad, guys are making business decisions, and we're not seeing that. The efforts
There's no
is
loafs
there.
going on.
No, the effort's there. It's just the talent's not.
They're just bad.
And you gotta. If we were a 3-4 defense built to play 3-4, most of the players here were 3-4 guys, and to try to get rid of pieces you don't want and bring in the pieces you do. Oh, and then by the way, trade away Quan and Quinn and Mac. And you're basically trying depth pieces at starter now, and then it's a freaking tall ass task to do in one off season.
I mean, basically, in my mind, other than the injuries, you just take the Jets game and throw it away because there's not a whole lot you can say. You can say Darrington Evanson looked good. You can say that, but other than that, there's really nothing you can take away from that game, in my opinion.
No, and Pole's free agency was horrible. His first free agency, in my opinion, and the mistake I think he made with the PR side of things is kind of trying to sell the fan base that this wasn't a complete teardown. It is
bullshit.
Well, yeah, right, but
people bought it though.
Yeah, they freaking predicted what 11-6.
People blocked us because we were real and not fucking ball washers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. The whole piss and match thing I'm kind of over in my old age, but I don't have the energy, man.
I just think it's really naive to say, well, now that Nagy's gone, that somehow guarantees that the next coaching staff coming in is going to be better. Now, to that point, I do think they have been better, but I think Bears fans and probably every NFL fan base overvalues the talent that they have on hand and reaching for, well, the schedule is easier, next year. Every year is different for every team. I just think the schedule argument to me just never makes sense.
Alan Williams, the jury's still out for me on him.
Then the jury should be out for you on Flus too, because that was the guy that he put in place to run his defense. So
you would think that they.
Oh, I think that's fair to say. The jury's still out on everybody, even my guy Luke Getsy.
Oh yeah, nobody's.
Yeah, I mean we're 12, 13 games into this. It's still early.
But this is what we expected. It's too early. Yeah, you're right. It's too early to get on anybody. But like to say it's Williams, that's just basically Flus's.
I just wish this defense produced something other than an unusually high percentage of third down conversions.
Well, the beginning of the season, it looked good on the defensive side. We just weren't scoring. And then we started scoring, and the defense took a backseat. It was just like...
But the defensive line, I mean, you
The
think about
defensive line's been bad all year.
well, every move in the offseason. So I think it's reasonable to say yes or no that there was a reasonable suspicion that Travis Gibson would be an ascending player this year, right?
Yes.
That didn't happen.
Based on what?
A limited sample size. I think that was the feeling for most. Now, how much of a leap you want to say he was going to take is a different story, but you saw enough flashes to say, okay, maybe he's an ascending guy to where he could be a solid starter at least. You signed Muhammad because he's a safe veteran guy who's always played at a solid level. You're not getting that right now.
He looks terrible.
Your first choice, Larry O, couldn't pass a physical. And by the way, he hasn't played very well. Justin Jones has been better than him this year. Just pretty much every single move on the defensive line and free agency was a strikeout.
Yeah. And that's where the conversation goes back to Diddy's point that he's really fucked up the offseason this year as far as free agency.
Adonijay is the one that came out trying to be Stan Lee with the shit, right? With all the Bears
comic
book shit.
Yeah.
He's the one that got in everybody's head with fucking Gibson being Thor and shit.
Dude, Adonijay, yeah. At this point, I wish he was Adonijay level.
Right.
No, right. But I'm saying when they started drawing the Bears as superheroes, people got all up in their feelings, man.
True that.
I mean,
True that.
That's true.
I mean, he's got the physique you think he would be dominant, right? Big fucking dude, but he just,
He ain't it.
It's not.
It wasn't. There. I mean, he was also a reach in the draft a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wasn't like an early pick though. What was he? Fifth round pick?
No.
Fifth round, but he was a project.
And he'd still be a good depth piece.
I think he's a guy that can shine if you have pieces around him, and I think that's what you saw when Max and some of the guys were here. And Hicks.
I think you've said it before that he's kind of an accessory piece.
Yeah.
You know, you throw him in the rotation and let him play along good players, and maybe he gets a little more pressure. But it's brutal up front
on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
And that's where you win.
Yeah. Who'd have thought?
And here we are.
Yeah, and here we are. And here come the Packers. Jesus Christ.
So, question for you two real quick. Diddy alluded to it earlier that, we all, and Jared did too, that we all expected this to play out this year, right? Our record was always going to be somewhere around this at this point. But I think we all thought that we wanted to see certain things happen, certain young players develop and play well. Based on where we're at today, would you say that they have met your expectations or failed to meet your expectations based on what you wanted to see from a developmental standpoint heading into next year?
Be specific. Give me a specific player.
Okay.
I'll answer with that. You being specific, and then you can make it specific for Jared. I think they failed. Okay. Because of the fact that they're still not protecting Justin well enough to get him to develop more as a passer. I know he was athletic, and he's playing out of his, in my opinion, like he's developed into this dominant running quarterback. I know he had the athleticism to accomplish that, but he's had to do it because of the lack of talent in front of him.
Right.
And that yes, he's fast as hell, but we're also at this position because of the fact that they're having him play this way. He's a system. He does not mind playing in a system. He doesn't mind playing in the pocket, but the shit's like so inconsistent.
That's the same with the whole team, though.
He's a top 10 rusher in the NFL. It's nice. It's been fun. It's been nice to see the offensive output we've had and the scoring we've had. It was fun, but it wasn't sustainable. I felt that way the whole time, and I just want to see. He needs that opportunity if he can come back healthy to start passing more. Like he needs. Yeah. I'd like to see that this season, in a season that at this point is meaningless. The meaningful reps and trying to get the passing game going, which Getsy seemed to be willing to do on the scripted shit with Trevor, and it was a pretty simple passing plan. It's not. I don't think that's anything above what Justin can do. That. You know what I mean? It's just. I want to see him to be able to pass more by the end of the season. And as long as that happens and we see some steps forward there, I would say it's a success. I thought it was about Justin the whole season. He's got all the upside in the world. I just want his reps to be meaningful. because we know he can run. That's already been proven. So let's move on to the next thing. But hopefully, and I don't want him to get killed in the pocket either, though. It's just like
I think that's where you could point a finger at and say that there's definite coaching regression there. Larry Borum was coming in with the thought that he could be a starting right tackle. He could hold it down. He's never looked as worse as he's looked in the last
he's been bad.
year. He looks bad. Tevin Jenkins has been up and down with injuries in and out. We don't know. We had all the mental shit that was going back and forth between Flus and him or whatever.
Patrick's just been a freaking.
Lucas Patrick never showed. Sam Mustford, once again, sadly, I have to say that he's performed better than expected. He has. He's not good. But I didn't expect good. He's Cody Whitehair's coming off the injury. He looks none of them look great. The offensive line looks like regression.
Where's your boy Leatherwood?
You know what? Now's the time. If it's a real deal and you wanted to make this move and you sign this guy, you're out of the playoffs. You're down a tackle.
You're not exposing your franchise quarterback right now either. So why not throw him in there with Trevor in there and give him some reps?
You're gonna play Schofield. You're gonna put Schofield out at right because Reef is hurt too. So I mean, now's the time. If you're ever gonna do anything with Alex Leatherwood, this is the time to do it. If you're not, then just move on. Cut him. Be done with it. Let somebody else deal with that shit.
You don't think Justin plays Sunday?
I don't know.
I don't see if there's any reason for him to, other than the rivalry game. And I don't,
especially with Mooney being out now too. Just
it's not even a rival. It's not even a rivalry anymore, man.
It's not. It's not.
No, but you did see Jalen Hurts damn near break Justin's single game rushing record 3 weeks after Justin broke it.
Yeah. But you don't want him playing that way.
That's the other side of the coin. You don't want him running that much, just coming back in his first game back.
I don't disagree.
Just for the sake of
but there's also the saying,
rivalry game,
Football players play football, right? There's that saying.
Yes, and there's also the saying that coaches protect football players from themselves, and that's exactly what they need to continue to do.
I mean, what's on the line besides them tying us for the most wins in NFL history?
Yeah, exactly.
It's your Super Bowl, for Bears fans.
This is not even a Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah, it stopped being a Super Bowl for me like 10 years ago.
Right.
But then the fact Rodgers is like, yeah, I'm coming out because we're not mathematically eliminated.
We're not dead yet.
Wouldn't it be awesome?
We don't even have to do the
Wouldn't it be awesome?
It'd be better if Trevor Siemian led Bears team beat them. Because then they would just be
found a way to put the fucking final nail in the Aaron Rodgers coffin.
Who's getting to him?
Dude, I think the Habuka juice or whatever the hell he drank is the one that put that nail in the coffin.
Yeah, not enough acid. Let's take more shit.
But
or that experimental COVID shot he got in British Columbia or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Did you see that interview, by the way, that got released from Deshaun Kaiser that he gave?
Yeah, something about 9/11.
Dude, yeah. It's so Deshaun Kaiser said the first interaction he had with Aaron Rodgers, he came to the door and Aaron said, "Hey, man, do you believe in 9/11?" And Deshaun was like, "Wait, what? Yeah, who doesn't believe in 9/11?" And Rodgers said, "You should read up on that, man." And apparently he believes in lizard people under the crust of the earth and just a bunch of weird shit.
No wonder his mama don't like him.
But going back to what and I'm going to go against Diddy and say that I think this season has been a success. I think going into this year, there was 3 categories of guys that I wanted to see, if they can be building blocks for 2023 and moving forward. First, obviously, is Justin Fields. And while the passing hasn't been there, part of it from his development standpoint, part of it from we don't have the offensive line to run
It's a case by case.
There's a couple different variables at play there, but Justin Fields. But I think we've seen, they've been able to exploit his second best strength this much. Imagine what we can do with his first best strength coming out of college as way more of a passer than he ever was as a runner. I think we've seen enough to where there is belief that he can be that guy. And I think if I was betting, I would bet that he does become a better passer, especially as they add more around him. The other two categories of players that I would say are they building blocks that we've seen success from are holdover players within the last 2-3 years from the Pace regime, guys like a Cole Kmet, who I think have shown you with opportunities he can be a productive starting tight end in this league.
Well, I mean, he had the 62 receptions the year before?
Yeah. With not so great quarterback play again,
right?
So,
yeah.
There was a couple left over from Pace where like Herbert and Kmet, guys that you wanted to see. Okay, can they be guys here with this new staff? I think we've seen yes on some of those guys, and then the rookies coming in. I know we clown Velas, and you're never going to get every pick right, but as a whole from this draft class, his first one, I think he's done a pretty decent job. So those three categories, all the 1 year guys like Pringle, those don't matter to me. It was
we shouldn't call them starters,
young holdovers, and Justin.
We shouldn't call them starters necessarily. I think just because they're starting for our team does not make them an NFL starter caliber.
True, but we have two legit starters. So I think who could start elsewhere.
Which would be?
That would be Jaquan Brisker and Trenton Gill.
On the whole team?
Of course, Trenton Gill.
Out of the draft picks.
Out of the draft picks.
Oh, okay. All right.
Braxton Jones still needs work.
I think Braxton Jones is terrific value for where you've drafted him. I just can't safely say that he would be a guaranteed starter on another team.
Right.
Kyler Gordon, same way.
If you're drafting a punter, and I forget, he was like a late draft pick, correct?
Yes, he was a 6th-round draft pick.
If you draft a punter and they're not starting, you're really fucked up.
Correct, but you've seen teams draft punters who haven't been good. They've drafted kickers that haven't been good. I still think you see the talent. Yes, it's not hard to scout a punter, but you see the talent there. I'm just saying he is a guy that legit could go start for other teams right now. I don't think you can say the same thing for a Braxton Jones or a Dominique Robinson or definitely not Tristan Ebner.
What about Velus Jones?
Definitely not Velus Jones. And then I don't even know if you count Sanborn in there since he was an undrafted free agent.
Right.
So
that's a guy that's just in the right places at the right time.
And to be honest, Kyler Gordon, a lot of questions still out on him.
Correct. I don't think you can safely say he would be starting for another team. So I would safely say 2 starters, but you've gotten guys that have played like a Braxton Jones, not perfect, but he's at least played meaningful reps, and you've seen some good there. Based on that value, I think that's a solid win. Just when I looked at going into the season, it was just about, okay, is he going to be the guy? I think we're leaning more towards yes than no right now. It's trending a positive direction, but yes, it is bittersweet in the sense that we've exploited his running ability, but his best ability we have yet to even tap into.
Which, if they keep running them the way they are, we're never going to be able to.
Also fair, but I think
that's my frustration. So, you see all these other quarterbacks throwing for 300 yards, and I know Justin's capable of it. It's not a question whether or not he's capable of it. It's just this fucking team can never have the pieces in place to let a quarterback develop properly. Whether it's the coaching, whether it's the fucking offensive line, the wide receiver talent, it's always fucking something. You got the guy that really he's a franchise quarterback talent. There's no question about that. This was a guy in college that was a dominant passer that ran when he had to. Now he's running as basically a first option because the shit's so fucking clusterfucked around him, and it just pisses me off, man. And I don't want that to ruin his development. So if he ends up getting injured because of this shit, because he's trying to take the world on his shoulders, literally, he's putting window dressing on this pile of shit we have on offense.
Yeah. Where are his 2 receivers from college, though?
Oh,
You saw
okay,
one.
Jer.
I'm just telling you, Garrett Wilson, stud. Chris Olave, stud. In college, it looks.
Show me a quarterback that was in that draft that didn't have stud wide receivers in college.
Let's see. Did
Trevor Lawrence, yes.
I don't
who?
think Zach
Who?
Wilson necessarily did.
I'm
Who?
talking about in
Amari
college.
Rogers? You're talking
In
about
college,
Amari?
he was very good.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I'm not
That's
talking about translating to the NFL. I'm
Oh,
talking
bro,
about at the
Trevor Lawrence
university.
had some wide receiver talent there.
Travis
Yeah.
Etienne. Okay.
As
All
a
right,
running
I
back,
get.
sure, but damn, you hating on.
No, I'm just saying that
Mac
Justin,
Jones at Bama, freaking go through the list. they have talented players all around them at top programs.
Didn't Trevor Lawrence play with T. Higgins there for a year or two?
He
A year, maybe?
maybe.
probably did. Yeah. Yes, Ohio State it has very good wide receivers.
They're very, very good. Those two
Yeah,
are.
and they had a
So,
very good offensive line.
I'm just saying, it's something we need to keep in perspective. Now, you brought up something speaking about wide receivers and Chase Claypool and the second round draft pick. You had a pretty good tweet there, Biscuits. I want you to kind of revisit that.
So, okay, and I do think there needs to be like maybe tweaks to it in terms of like top half of the second round where the pick is going to be. As I just did the full second round, but so in the last 10 years, there have been 52 wide receivers or 51 wide receivers drafted in the second round. And I just went kind of year by year, and I only found, I think, 11 that I think you can say are definitively better than Chase Claypool. So the question is, out of 51 guys, if you're only finding 11 better, is the sure thing commodity with 3 years of development under his belt, knowing that Justin Fields needs a guy that can come in and play right away and not have to wait for that sort of rookie development to get through. Is that worth the value of a second round pick? Knowing that he needs to be more involved in the offense, knowing that he needs to obviously show more, is that worth it? And looking at it, I would say chances are in the second round, you're probably not going to draft a guy as good as him out the gate.
I would agree with that statement.
In this particular draft, I agree. I don't think it's that deep at wide receiver. And if you look at free agency, I think you would spend more financially than that draft pick might be worth.
For a lower quality player, too.
The free agent draft
Bad.
wide receivers is not good.
No. I think we went through that earlier.
Yeah, and this kid has the potential. He has the body type and potential. I don't know if he'll ever tap into it fully because he really needs to develop better as a route runner. He's more of a straight up 50-50 guy at this point, in my opinion. But if the talent's there, I think because of his experience in the NFL, he's much better than a second round pick you would get out of college coming in because it takes time to develop.
Correct.
So, and the fact that we have another second round pick anyway. So we're still in the second round.
Right.
And I'm gonna throw shade. Steelers
Throw it.
Nation, fuck off with your bullshit that you fleeced us because we continue to see these fucking tweets. I have Steeler friends that are Steeler fans that are friends and they keep sending me this shit. I'm like, listen, man, this is the situation. Oh, Claypool's not producing. What fucking wide receiver on this team is? Like seriously, like consistently, I think Mooney leads the team with 493.
Yeah.
Like nobody's lighting the world on fire. The second leading receiver is it, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Biscuits. You're the stats guy. Is it like 14 receptions by St. Brown for the fucking
19
season?
for one. It's like it's 19 for 145, I think.
I'm just saying, man. It's not like wide receivers are not eating here, so it's not a fair freaking comp. You can tell you don't really know what's going on with this team right now. It's not Claypool's fault that he's not involved. They finally got him in this game. I think against the Jets, he was like in for 67% of the snaps.
It's also opportunity share too, right? So it's not only snaps, but it's also how many times we're calling pass plays per game.
I mean, these guys are asking to be offensive linemen essentially for most plays. They're blocking their ass, trying to block their asses off.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm fine with the trade. There's completely fine because if Claypool was a free agent, he'd be the top guy.
So after Darnell Mooney, it's Cole Kmet with 29 catches.
I'm just talking
Mon-
wide receivers, though.
Oh, then it's definitely St. Brown with 14.
14.
But David Montgomery has the third most catches on this team right now.
We've been there before.
Yeah, but
Matt
David
Forte.
Montgomery is no Matt Forte though.
No.
He's like a Kirkland Forte, and he runs hard, man. But it's
He
just
does. He does run really hard. I think there's a role for him at a certain value. But
oh yeah, you're not paying him top. I just
No.
don't.
Did you see the free agent running back market? That is going to be a stacked class. So there's a good chance that David Montgomery is back here on a short-term minimal money deal.
I think if you put him with a top offensive line, though, it's a different story. I think he would be much more productive. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. He just doesn't have that home run speed that you
offense
really
doesn't look the
want
same without Khalil Herbert, does it?
at
No.
all. Someone was saying that earlier this year.
Oh, we won't miss him. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How's that working out for you?
Can't
Yeah.
pass block anyways.
Yeah. So.
So, any goats to the game at all?
Really?
Yeah.
Mike White.
No, he's fucking Joe Montana status. You can't go there.
Did that hurt, honestly, to see Mike White throw for 300 yards just with like ease?
Yes. It's brutal.
Chair said yes.
It's brutal. Can't even turn him over.
He was just. I mean, he was just playing Stockton, man. He was just a point guard,
Yeah.
and guys were
100%.
getting open.
Lobs and dunks. That's what that was all about. Just lobbing it up and they're throwing it down.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
I mean,
Do you guys know who Zonovan Knight is?
He's 69 yards of him, right?
I had never heard of Zonovan White in my life.
Yeah. Just wait. It's going to get better this week.
More shade. These networks. You know when a Bears game's going bad, and it never fucking fails. They have to bring up our quarterback history, right? The 27 starting QBs since 2000. This is the second most. That pops up on my TV. And then never had a quarterback that threw for 30 touchdowns in a season. They just start like fucking
No
putting the
4,000
screws
yards.
in.
Yeah.
Like, we know we're getting our ass kicked, man. Come on. Like, it never fails. They always have to bring up our fucking past, and like, I'm just so fucking sick of it.
Yeah, man, you know how much time it saves them every year? They're like, get the Bears quarterback reel out, less content they have to create.
At least we didn't get the graphic of every quarterback's face that we freaking had. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
it's coming. It's coming.
Collinsworth would break that shit out though.
Jeez.
And fuck him too. So like I'm watching the Philly Green Bay game, and he's not very faithful to Aaron Rodgers. As soon as Love came in, he started sucking him off too.
Right.
It's just like a Green Bay thing. He's like, oh, I'm so poised. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And my dude, the Christian Watson thing's killing me though. That was my like draft crush, bro. Like,
Yeah.
fuck.
You had a real chance of getting him.
Not gonna lie, it's easier for me watching Jalen Tolbert do absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I wanted Watson, man. Whatever. We got Valus. We're good. So anyway. Right now we're at the point of the season where right now, as it stands, second pick overall. Draft Network did a way too early mock draft that I normally don't even want to touch, but I read it.
Don't do it.
So they had Houston picking Bryce Young at 1, Chicago picking Will Anderson, the edge from Bama, at 2, and then Detroit picking Jalen Carter, interior defensive lineman from Georgia, Seattle, Tyree Wilson, edge from Texas Tech, and then Pittsburgh, Broderick Jones, offensive tackle from Georgia. So those are like the top 5 picks. I'm just saying that because positions are going to shift a little bit. We're probably going to be in the top 5.
Trade back.
That's what everybody's saying, right? But how often are we in the first round? Like,
how often do we hit on first round picks?
But why not the top offensive tackle in the draft? Why not the top edge? Why not the top tier defensive lineman?
You might still.
They're all positions of need.
You might still be able to get that player
In the top 5, Jer.
So
somebody's going to want a quarterback.
So hold on.
There's no quarterback worth trading up into the top 5 for. Bryce Young is going to be the guy.
As
probably.
Captain of the trade back train, because I love me some trading back, and for a team with a lot of holes, it makes a lot of sense. It always comes down to 2 fundamental principles. A, are you passing up on a generational talent by moving back? Based on your board, are you moving off into a range where you're no longer going to get a generational player? If you have a chance at that kind of guy, I love trading back, and you have a lot of holes, but you got to take that guy. You take the talent when it's there.
Carter and Anderson are there.
2, if
Instant
you trade
shade.
back,
Instant shade. Generational player. The people that say
Yes.
generational player not everybody can be a generational player. It's like,
Correct.
that's a generational player.
I
don't think other people see it the same way.
Whoa, hold on now. But that's your evaluation of the guy. If you think you've identified 3 guys in a draft that are generational, can't miss prospects, then you take them. You don't trade back if you're in a position to grab one.
Do you define generational in your
Based
mind?
on their evaluation? If they think he's
Quentin
Nelson
Nelson, Saquon Barkley.
Saquon was.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like a guy like Jamal Adams, who was taken at 4 overall. He wasn't generational. Jamal Adams is a really good safety, but he wasn't.
No, they were hyping him up that way in the draft.
No, they were hyping up that, of course, but not every team had a grade on Jamal Adams that had him that high, or a generational type player. Solid 10-year guaranteed starter, all pro, sure. I think there's a difference between all pro and 1 or 2 years and generational.
Not generational, but most people didn't see that.
Well,
that happens every draft, though. There's always.
I know. I'm just saying the term generational gets thrown around pretty loosely.
All right, let's use top prospects so Jared doesn't get all.
Okay.
Get out. That's right.
If you think you have a chance at a can't miss 10-year great player starter, then
a guy you can build around. Let's call it that. Which is generational, but go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. But you got to take that guy. You don't trade back. Now, if you're bored, let's say where you're at, there is no guy like that, and you have the same value on players 3 through 10, the same grade on that, then it doesn't hurt you to move back to 6 or 7 because you're getting equal value, and you have a multitude of choices to that will still be available for you to pick from. So it always depends on those 2 things for me, the way I look at it.
So do you see that?
But I'm always team trade back. Let's go.
I mean, if you could trade at, say, we end up at 2, and you can trade to, say, 6, and you pick up another second.
This is what I would say. Again, I don't proclaim to be a draft expert. I love the draft. It's my favorite part of football.
Yeah,
but I am not like a tape junkie breaking down. I'm not going to sit here and tell you who's going to be the best players.
Not
I've ever
this
drafted.
early. I'll get into it more in like February.
But if for the Bears, if at 2 they feel like, let's say, what is it, Jalen Carter or what was it, Will Anderson, the other one?
Yeah.
If they think one of those 2 guys is what we just defined, generational, solid 10-year starter, whatever you want to say, then no, I'm probably not making that trade. I'm taking that guy. It's at a high position of need. And you think you can grab a guy 10-year? Sure, you can trade back and you get 2 more swings at it, but it's still a crapshoot. If you have conviction that guy is that guy, you stay put and you take him. And maybe there's another opportunity in the draft to move back when the value on your board is the same for 10 guys that you have as your top 10.
And I haven't looked at Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle from Georgia, but if he is a solid tackle, I'd be fine there too. If we ended up at 5 where they predict him getting picked.
Is he rated higher than, what's that guy's name, Skoronski?
I am not sure, man. This is just what Draft Network had for the top 5. I haven't really delved into any draft picks.
Is he from Northwestern or?
Yes, I believe so.
I think so.
I have not watched a lick of college football or except Coastal.
No, and they have
Grayson McCall.
With the Ravens pick right now, they have us at 56, and I don't know how they do a 2-round mock this early, but they had us drafting at 56. Xavier Hutchinson, a wide receiver out of Iowa State. Blend of size, physicality, ball skills, route running, athleticism, 6'3", 205.
God, we still got 5 fucking games left. And here
Yeah,
we
no,
are.
but I saw some stuff on him, and he did look solid. I would be happy if they were able to get a guy like that and that at that point in the draft. But yeah, I've seen guys doing mock drafts for weeks now, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So
It sucks. We got 5 games left.
I was just actually looking into who people are trying to mock the top 5.
It's completely justified, man.
I like seeing those type of mock drafts way more than like the fan mock drafts on Twitter.
Yes.
Like you've done like, and I'm guilty of it, but you'll trade, the second overall pick for picks for like, they end up having like 8 picks in the first round. It's like, I don't want to see that.
It's late enough into the college season to start seeing who people are predicting in the top 5. And we're going to be in that range. So that's the only reason I looked it up.
Yeah.
I saw Will Anderson. I've seen Will Anderson. I've seen Will Anderson play a bunch. The dude has a freaking motor, man. I don't know if he's got a motor enough to be a defensive end in this defense. He might end up being an outside linebacker in this defense, but I'm fine with that too.
You said he's a little bit light, right?
He's, I want to say 6'4", 240. He's a linebacker size, but if he's a freak, we've heard the knock on guys undersized, like Aaron Donald.
McClellan.
Well, I'm just saying that sometimes there's a guy that just kind of
one in Los Angeles right now too. That was 6'4" and
the tweeners.
Yep.
So he could be that guy. I haven't done enough.
They showed his career statistics there, though. Dude has produced a lot of tackles for losses, a lot of pressures, a lot of sacks.
True.
Big time talent too, that he's going up against every week.
And Carter's a beast too.
He can be. He's been hurt, so they're just now getting a good look at him. He's missed a couple of weeks, so we'll see. The sad thing is that we are fucking having to talk about this with almost a month of football left.
Yeah, but in free agency too, there's a couple offensive linemen I wouldn't mind here. Orlando Brown Jr., McGlinchey.
Oof.
Orlando Brown was supposed to be a bit. That was the same draft.
Diddy
that was
GM
the same draft.
Or GM Diddy in the chat, like, dude, we sat there and assembled just
all of these guys were in the same draft. Brown was in the same draft. McGlinchey was in the same draft. Nelson was in the same draft. Saquon Barkley was in the same draft.
Well,
I saw Orlando Brown.
You get McGlinchey here. You got Flus here. Maybe Q demands a trade.
I didn't see Orlando Brown.
And we need a center. So all we need is a center. Upgrades at tackle. Probably a guard. Interior defensive lineman. Defensive ends.
I want to ask Jared's opinion.
3 linebackers.
I want to ask Jared's opinion on this, and I think, Diddy, it was you. You floated the idea, not that you were completely sold on it, but didn't you float out the idea of, if, let's say, you made some moves in free agency like that, moving Cody White here to center?
He'd be an upgrade to Mustafa probably. I don't know where he's at physically though.
Are we picking up a 7-10 split?
What's that?
Are we bowling? Or are we playing center? Because if we're bowling, yeah. Give me some white hair at center.
You think the snap issues are
real?
Not something
He's not a center.
Okay. Just curious. I'm curious to your opinion.
I mean, he played it, but not well, in my opinion.
Or you just draft the center.
Oh, we did, but we moved him to guard.
Yeah. There you go.
He was so young.
He's still playing pretty well at guard, too.
Yeah, I hear he's playing pretty well there in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. He's got his own little highlight reel going up there.
Sure does. So, yeah.
Packers game. We even care.
You want to do score predictions?
Yeah, let's do score predictions.
I'm good.
Oh, by the way, my go to the game was Greg Zuerlein. That was my go to the game.
That was pretty impressive, man. 57 in the rain.
In the rain, yeah.
He missed 53 in the rain too. Fuck him. That's why he's lost his job.
What?
More than he's had it.
Oh.
Yeah. Damn, Jared. Rough on the kickers, man.
Yeah, I picked Demo for go to the game. He played hard.
I guess you got to throw Jack Sanford in there too.
Not really.
So,
I worry about his stats being inflated because the defense around him so bad that he gets a lot. He gets a lot of
opportunity. Supposed to do.
Dude,
I don't know, Jerry.
Opportunity to.
I thought the one thing I saw this past week that I saw him at least 3 or 4 times fight through and slip through blocks.
Yeah,
and he's got good instincts to the football where it's going. Now again, I think the sideline to sideline speed. You've maybe seen a couple plays where it's like, okay, maybe he does have enough speed to do it. I don't know, man. I think he's at least earned his chance to start again next year for $827,000. That's a great value.
Thank God.
He's kind of all over the field. Especially for a guy playing in the middle. Like the fact that the defensive line in front of him is bad, it's actually showing you that he's even better than anticipated because he's keeping himself clean with all the bullshit in front of him, and he's involved in a lot of plays. So
he's always where he needs to be when the ball is up.
If you're impressive when the guys in front of you aren't doing their job, that's impressive.
I agree.
Sure.
I think that's what makes Brisker's season this year all the more impressive.
Yeah, Brisker's that dude. No question.
That dude.
All right, let's pick this game. Bears have the Packers coming in.
I don't know who's playing quarterback, bro.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters. Too much.
If I told you it was Justin Fields versus Jordan Love, would you be more prone to pick the Bears?
No.
Your hesitation should answer that question.
I don't know where he's at physically, man. It's hard. I don't know if he's going to come out cautious. I don't know if he does play. So I have no idea.
I think the only benefit of playing him at this point is with Mooney down, you're maybe forcing that relationship with Claypool a little bit more to build upon at the end of the year before next year. But I don't think that outweighs the injury risk there to rush him back this quick. I say you sit him, let Trevor go. And I mean, beating Green Bay this year is what is that doing for you? Besides worsening your draft pick.
28-10 Green Bay. I want that number 2 draft pick.
I'll take an even bigger spread than that. 38-7.
Oh God, how?
It was 31-10 against the fucking Jets. You don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to carve us up? Jesus Christ.
I think the Jets' offense is better, and I think the Packers' defense is worse.
Yeah, I don't think Rodgers is in shape to carve anything.
Fade pony. Let's hear it.
Honestly, I ain't gonna lie though. No matter over the years, like an Aaron Rodgers slump's not really a slump. But even when like the last game he didn't play so hot, and you're like, oh, I don't know, is Rodgers maybe fading a couple weeks here? He would always come right back against us, smash us. So.
We're the get right for every quarterback.
Exactly.
Mike White threw for 300 yards.
Yeah, we're gonna make Rodgers look so good that it's gonna quiet all the love speculation. He'll be like, "Oh, my thumb, I drank something and my thumb felt better," and blah blah blah.
I'd rather see Love, to be honest. I don't really care.
I wouldn't, because our defense will make him look like a fucking god.
Yeah,
we've done this to Brent Huntley. It doesn't matter. Like we're used to this shit.
Yeah, but there's a certain element of Jordan Love coming in and playing well, and then hearing Packers fans bitch that they have their guy for the next 15 years that I just don't want to fucking hear.
I think that's even funnier.
Dude, no.
So your score
prediction. Can you imagine Peter Buttplug talking for a full 8 months about how Jordan Love is the next guy?
Just mute his ass.
Dude, that hairy forearm bastard keeps appearing.
Mute him.
Anyways, go ahead, Jer.
Go ahead, your score prediction.
I'm going to go Green Bay 30, Bears 20.
Oh, we scored 20 points. Wow.
Yes.
Right.
Trevor Siemian bounces back and scores 20.
Over under yardage for Christian Watson. Over whatever number I throw out.
Whatever you put out there, I'm taking the over. Over.
I'll set it at 85.
Oh, over. He's definitely going over a bill.
Okay. I'd take the over too.
I'm going to say he's got 110 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And we hate him for it.
And Diddy's we got to do a wellness check on Diddy.
No, I'm good, man. I'm
that
just
game.
going through Twitter
No,
bullshit.
I'm talking about when Watson goes for 110 and two touchdowns on Sunday.
He's doing what I expected him to do, so it's not for the team I wanted him to be on. This guy Jason on Twitter has 2 accounts. I was just saying it would have been nice to pick up Mahomes at 3 instead of trading up for Mitch back in the day, to a comment about the Russell Wilson trade not happening. We were just talking shit, and he chimes in and goes, Mahomes wouldn't have developed here to be the player he is today with us. And like, it's got like all these people started chiming in with likes. Like, I'm tired of these 15-year-old kids on Twitter, bro. I'm tired of it. And then he came at me with another account. It's just like, Twitter's so whack, bro. I can't even do it anymore. I have to follow in the footsteps of my boy and just get rid of my account.
All right. Well, on that happy, positive note,
was just trying to get AA to hop on here and give us his 3-minute AA breakdown. But
I imagine that went to hell in a handbag real quick.
No, he is retired. He said from podcasting.
Well,
all right. On that note, we will leave you.
Yeah, and that's just another episode of the Tailgate Show.
Second round pick. Man, dude, I've had a bad thing with numbers tonight. I butchered the Claypool tweet, butchered that. I'm just gonna say fuck this. This season's over. I'm done.
fair. And
God, what a long season.